Hi, okay, so again, going back to if you've never walked into a frame shop, one thing that's pretty much guaranteed if you walk into my frame shop, I will first lay out your options, whether it is done with me or it's not done with me. I only do custom framing in my shop. I have no ready-made frames in my shop or do-it-yourself tips. I will always lay out whether or not you have to go custom, you don't have to go custom. You should be aware if you are your size, if it's a standard piece of art, photography, what your size is. So you know, do I need to go custom? Do I not need to go custom? Can I just go pick up a ready-made frame? Cost differences are going to be a main thing, but also quality and whether it's conservation is the other main key factor. So yes, you can go pick up a ready-made frame for a lot less in cost than you would custom it, but you're not going to get conservation quality. You're not going to get as good of quality, but all depending on, at the end of the day, what your end result wants to be. You do have to watch with some ready-made frames. Some people would, okay, I'm just going to get the molding material and I'm going to upgrade my glass to conservation glass in the insides. Well, now some of the department stores have started to glue in the glass in the frame. My thought is because it adds more stability to the frame. They're starting to make the frame so cheap that by gluing in the glass, it adds more support to the frame itself. A lot of frames too, the ready-mades are not coming in with hardware. Main reason for that is A, it's cheaper for them, and then two, it may be plastic where some hardware is not ideal. It could be MDF. It could be where realistically it's bigger, it's made with cheaper material. You put hardware and go hang it, the piece may actually not be able to hold its own weight. There have been some people that have come in here with ready-mades and they just want me to put in hardware. Sometimes I can, and then sometimes I have to tell them, I won't do this. I'm not going to stand by this. If it's something like MDF or certain plastics, you need to pre-drill. If you just drill right into it, you're going to strip this hardware and eventually it could just give away. Sorry, okay. And I know I'm not editing these. I didn't want to get into that. I'm kind of doing these between customers, between work to try and help. But going back to if you get a ready-made and the glass is glued into the frame, you most likely will break that glass to get break the glass and the frame to get the glass out to use the frame with conservation quality. So if you're trying to go that route, make sure you find a frame that the glass is not glued into it. So going backwards, some people will do a bigger ready-made frame if their art's an odd size and put a custom matte margin in it to make it work. The love-hate relationship with this is 90% of the time, 80% of the time, in that ballpark, you're forcing that art into the ready-made frame. So you'll have uneven matte margins. This will drive some people crazy. They don't care if it saves them money. At first they do. They're like, I'm going to go that route. It's a little bit cheaper, it'll be fine. Down the road, they're like, I can't deal with this. And then they got to go all over and start from scratch. So that I would consider that whether uneven matte margins bother you or don't bother you. If they don't bother you, that might be a route for you. Another option is some people go with sectionals, metal sectionals that basically you can find them cut to a standard numbered size. They don't typically round to 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, but that is another route you could take. If you don't know much about that, I can talk more about those later. And then another last option that I know of that people will try and do is if they find a wood frame at, like, let's say a yard sale, and it's larger than their size, they'll bring it to me and I will cut it down for them to whatever size they need. I will not cut polyfoam. I will not cut MDF or other materials. If it's metal, I will, and if it's wood, I won't deal with the other substrates. Just integrity issues. I can touch base with these on at a different time. That's a whole another topic. There's so much information. So I hope this helps knowing whether or not to go from custom to ready-made to trying to figure out a different solution. At the end of the day, you want to know what's the right look for you? Is money a factor? Is quality a factor? Ready-made frames are just to get it up on the wall. It's not conservation. If your piece is worth money, you may want to consider that. Some people go, oh, I don't have sunlight, just UV. UV lights can be just as bad as sunlight for your work. Also your backing, if you're putting in cardboard in the backing, that can destroy your artwork as well. Sorry, another break. Time is limited. Sometimes I'm beyond grateful. Busy girl. I can't say enough how grateful I am. But so I didn't necessarily mean to say your UV lights, your fluorescent lights, whatever lighting in your house that you're using, they do impact it as well. Yes, direct sunlight is probably the harshest thing, no different than it burns our skin. But lighting in your home, fluorescent lights, whatever bulbs you're using, there's so many different kinds in that in itself, they will impact your photos, your art as well over time. So going back to, there's just many different classifications and price points of framing, how you want to do it, what route you want to do. I always recommend doing all custom, but I'm biased. There are times in my own house, so I've been able to use ready-made, swap out the glass, do certain things, and that's worked just as good. At the end of the day, it's just what you are trying to so kind of a recap. Custom framing may be the most money, but you get to gear it to exactly what you want. It's preserved, it's done right. It'll probably make you smile the most, and every time you look at it, be super happy. You can go other routes of going a little bit cheaper, sectionals of ready-made, repurposing a frame, cutting down a frame, other options. You might be cutting something short that I don't know if you'll regret later or you'll be just as happy with. Depends on what you want your overall look to be. Price point may be a little bit cheaper, or it could be more because you're putting more time into doing a different route. You're putting a lot more time because you got to find stuff. You got to go on a hunt. You got to do a little more options, and it's still not exactly right. So I don't know if people weigh out time and money anymore. I know I do, but just some thoughts. And typically if you go another route, you're cutting some sort of corner. You may not have to cut some sort of corner. You can possibly do it. I do try and find a lot of solutions for people. Some work amazingly. I do them quite often just to help people find what suits their needs. But some options to think about. I hope this helps. And if you appreciate what I'm doing, like and subscribe. And I appreciate you. Thank you.